Happy Friday, everyone. I hope that you all had a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. Yeah, because we haven't seen you guys. I am
Yes.
Iris Owens, your host of the Autopsy of Her Healing, Evolving Resiliency. And of course, on the line with me is my wonderful, beautiful co-host and sister. Good morning, or I should say good afternoon, honey bunny. How are you today?
I'm great. Good morning, honey bunny. Good morning, everyone. Stephanie Deani Green.
Yes, we need to catch up. Well, we were catching up. So just we had a whole nother show that happened before we came on to y'all today. So
Yeah, the show before the show, right?
the show before the show. Yes, 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 yes. So again, I hope that you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I had a great Thanksgiving. It was very it was quiet and very reflective, and it was good. I had a great time. What about you, Steph?
My Thanksgiving was really it was definitely quiet. I have this huge family, so it kind of like we got our wires crossed, me and my sisters. So each of us ended up having Thanksgiving at our own homes. But I had like 7 people, and it ended up being really good. It was okay with the 7 people, but I still didn't have any chairs for them to sit in. And then my niece was supposed to bring the chairs, so she forgot the chairs. I had to find chairs all around the house because I had set this beautiful table. And they were like, "Well, we don't have to." No, we are sitting at this table, okay?
Yeah, we are
You know?
sitting at this table. I put in this work. You're
So
sitting at this table.
it's like if one more person would have came, it wouldn't work. Like, because I ended up sitting on the bench, just like a stool. We sat, all 7 of us sat at my dining room table.
All right, that's what I'm talking about.
I refuse to buy chairs. Just I want what I want, so I'll hold out for what I want. But it was good. Had a whole
Good.
bunch. We had so much food. Like I
Oh wow,
really,
that's good.
yeah, but it was too much for 7. It was just so much food.
Oh,
It was ridiculous. And like I had a big menu, and then my niece and my daughter was like, "That's a lot of food." Then I cut it down, and it still ended up being like a lot of food. But
well,
yeah,
well, since so Scarlett and I spent Thanksgiving together. And so I had purchased, I think on Wednesday night before Thanksgiving or Tuesday night, one of those nights, I purchased a half of a smoked turkey breast.
okay.
And then I bought some kale. So I made kale. I had kale and my smoked turkey breast for Thanksgiving. And it was great. Scarlett had some smoked turkey breasts for
I know
Thanksgiving.
it's
So
like that.
so Scarlett was like, I'm glad nobody else is here because I get to get some stuff that I probably otherwise would not have gotten.
No, she would.
So, no, she would not have. So, today, as you all heard me say earlier, I said it was very reflective for me. And so, today, our topic is reflections, right? And reflections of 2022, because we are winding down this year. And reflections of 2022 on life, love, and loss. I think those are three pieces of our lives that every day makes a difference in what we do, how we do it, when we do it, and with whom we're doing it with. And so for me, when I was saying that it was reflective, I feel like the last few years of my life, at the end of every year, things get really hard, if that makes sense, right? It's like the year is normally coasting and going pretty good, but at the end of the year, somewhere between that between Thanksgiving and that Christmas and before New Year's, things get really hard, as if, and it starts to make me reflect upon, okay, what is happening here? Why is this going on? Again, why is life, my life, having all these changes or these challenges right now? With regard to where is, I have to start searching for my own love of self instead of having negative talk about myself, about what's going on, because then I want to blame, or I will blame myself for things that are happening in that life cycle, and saying, maybe if you hadn't done that, then this wouldn't be like this. And what do you need to change so that you don't have this same repeat of this thing again and again? So that gets to be very interesting. And then the other morning, I was in my backyard, and I have banana trees in my backyard. And so, of course, this time of year, despite the fact that it was almost 80 degrees in Georgia yesterday in December, or the the banana trees and the grass and everything else know that they're supposed to die. So they're all they're all, crumpled or crumped over and dried and all this stuff. But the other morning I was out in the backyard and I was looking at the banana tree, and I literally took a picture of the banana tree because, banana trees have these big old, leaves on them that wave and slap around, in the wind and in the breeze, and they're beautiful trees. But of course, during the winter, once that first cold hit them, they just collapse over and they just wither. Mm-hmm. But as I was looking at the banana tree all withered, right there in the center was a complete brand new leaf, just uncoiling and coming up. Uh-huh. And I took a picture of it and I said, this is a reminder of that even when death is all around me, that life is always present and that God is always there. And that reminder was more for me than it was for anyone else, but I did post it. And I think, again, life is very reflective, reflections of when you start to look at all the things that have gone on in the year and in your days of the year. And right now getting down to the end of the year. So I don't make New Year resolutions. I stopped making New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, absolutely
very long time ago.
Yeah, me also.
I think it's better to make goals, right? Because reflections give you the opportunity to say, okay, if it's about my life, what do I need to change? To do better, to be more, to get more, to go further, whatever it is that you're wanting to do in your life, you need to set goals to be able to do that. As it comes to love of self, love of your family, love of your children, love of your significant other, but also love of life. What do I need to do to make the love of my life, which should be your life, your God, and everything else that you're doing in life, how do you make that better, right? How do you improve upon that? And when it comes to loss, is loss always a bad thing? Because sometimes loss is necessary loss is necessary whenever you're doing an inventory or reflecting, because there's going to be loss of something, right? It's just like, as a young person, we sometimes want to mourn the loss of getting older. But most times you don't understand that when you're young, which is why they say youth is wasted on the young. Because you don't ever think about that. And now I think about the fact that many times I sit and I'm going, I'm 57, and I go, how did I get here again? Now, obviously, I know how I got here. Okay. Right. But you just feel kind of strange. So I was talking, Steph and I were talking. And so, Steph, I was saying to you, I said, Steph has this great smile on her face, which she always has a great smile on her face. But there's a reason for the smile on her face, right? So you can share whatever you choose about why that smile is on your face.
Well, before I do like to smile, but before I get to another reason that I smile, is that when you're talking about how did you get now that you're 57, yes. And I have like I have a whole different idea about that because my mom, she was 42 when I was born, and she had a lot of older sisters. So they were all like 49, like some of them were in their 50s. So when I was a young child, a baby, I grew up with all these women. So for me, 40s and 50s have always been young. So because those are the women I was around. I was an infant and toddler, whatever. And the women I was around was in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. So that's what, I was, like used to. Even being 15, going to spend time with my aunt. She was in her 70s. And that's what I saw. So I was accustomed to that, you know what I'm saying? And they're just youthful. So like to me, that's like, I give another reason smiling. I have a man friend, because he's old. I don't want to say a boyfriend, a man friend, but it was a friend, and now we're more than friends, and it's really really nice, But he always like, you're 60. I'm like, no, I'm 58. I'm not 60. No, you're 60. I'm like, no, I'm 58.
Right. Don't so look, don't age me, brother.
Exactly.
Hold on now.
Yeah. So it's nice. So it's like something, you know, it's different. I can honestly say with someone that you've known for so many years, decades
Mhm.
actually, and then it becomes more than friendship. It's a whole, something I've never experienced before. So, but it's nice,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now,
It's nice. We enjoy each other.
so now we're gonna laugh. So for those in our listening audience, right? You all remember I don't call men, right? You all remember that? You all remember my
Yeah,
sister
yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't call men.
I don't. I
And
don't.
but look at what has happened between I don't call men and I'm da 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 and I'm not gonna to and now I have a man friend, right?
But I don't call him. He called me. See, I
I
don't. For sure.
understand. I understand. But you did call him back, though. My point.
Oh, I told you if they call, I will call back. I
Okay,
said, never tell me
absolutely.
to
You,
call back.
you call back, and you call back, and you held some conversation. So,
Oh
amen.
yeah, we have a lot of conversations. A lot of conversations. I think I could talk a lot and he could listen a lot. So I definitely call back. But it was a minute, also getting to that point of like,
Mhm.
so but it's really nice. Something nice about, having a conversation, because I just think that you can, it's like you've been down that whole road of you cannot build a relationship on sex. It just doesn't work. It really just doesn't,
Mhm.
because eventually something else has. So just to be able to have communication with someone and always have something to talk about or to laugh about is really really nice. You know what I mean? And just like, chill. Like nice to have, company. You know, to like watch a movie with, go to a movie with, or watch something, or just it's somebody checking on you. Like, what's going on? How you doing? You want to
Right.
go get some,
Right.
that's nice. It's something that that's something for me that I wanted, and I wasn't willing to sacrifice what I wanted, for anything. So it's
And
nice.
and so so right there, and we're not saying you're in love or any of those things, but let's talk about reflection on love, right?
Hmm.
Because in I will say that I can't speak for everybody in the world, but I'm going to say the majority of us want love.
Hmm.
We need love, love of
Oh
self,
yeah, that's correct.
love of others,
Mhm.
love of what we do in life as a you know what you your work as opposed to work being something that you love doing so that it doesn't feel like work, that you enjoy it that much, love of other people, love of things. So reflective or reflections upon that is that you recall this person being someone that you've known before. How does that play out now, like the person you knew years ago to the person that you are both now today? Like, what reflections have you had about that, or if you've had any?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's like like when you think that you know a person, but
Mm-hmm.
you like now just realizing we know aspects of each other, but we really didn't know each other, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because you always see each other in a different light. We see each other as friends. At one time for a short period of time we were co-workers. So it's so different. You know what I mean? So it's a whole different thing. And then just to see a person in their own environment, for them to see you in your own environment. You know what I mean? Like, if we meet once in a while and go to lunch, that's not the same. We're friends, so it's a whole different thing. Which is nice though. So it's like know a little something, but you don't really know the whole kit and caboodle.
Mm-hmm.
Pieces, because then it's like it's friendship. It's not intimacy. So
Right.
that's different. So now, and it does say something how, unlike hearing and a sort of understanding how you should be friends, before you engage into a
Right.
relationship.
Right.
And I understand that totally more so now, being in that space. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
I can honestly say probably never in a million years, knowing that, oh, I definitely want a relationship. I would have never, thought it would be this person. And,
Mhm.
and it's nice though, don't get me wrong. It was like, oh, it's the best person it could have ever been. But never in a million years. Because I just think that we were like, I thought that we were always going to be in the friendship lane,
Mhm.
always.
Mhm.
I never thought that we would move from that lane.
And so,
So
I love that because of the fact that what do most people say? I married my friend, or you should marry your friend, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
I totally agree with you, Steph. It is much better to be engaged with someone who is a friend, because a
hmm,
friend, right, is someone that we trust. Well, we
exactly.
normally our friends, we trust our friends sometimes more than we trust our own parents.
It's true. It's
Right?
true. It's true.
Because we share a lot with our friends. We share things with our friends that we find sometimes that we don't have a space to share with anyone else in our life, because maybe our parents are too close, maybe our siblings are too close, maybe,
Mhm.
some friends are not the sharing friends. Some friends are just friends that we're just friends by association, or we're friends because we've just known each other that long, but I still wouldn't tell you my dark, deep secrets because I don't
Exactly.
trust you like that. Right.
Those are your utility friends.
Yeah, yes, right. Or as there's a little girl who said there are subject friends in school. She said you have to have subject friends. I thought I
Exactly.
love that. She said you have to have
Exactly.
subject friends. And I think as adults, we do. We need subject friends, right?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
there are a
Exactly.
lot of
So
subjects in our lives that come up.
yeah, yeah,
I
it's
think as
true.
you
It's
grow older, you realize I need subject friends, because maybe you're my subject friend when it comes to relationship. Maybe this person over here is my subject friend when it comes to finances. Maybe this
right.
person over here is my subject friend when I'm trying to just act crazy and nobody else will understand me. All right. So, but I think it's important that the reflection of people who you once knew and then you meet up again later in life, and then you realize how much you've evolved and how much they've evolved.
Yes, it's true.
Or
Mhm.
sometimes the lost part is that you believe that you know each other, and so you come into it with, I know you, you know me. So you refuse to have conversations about what has this person been doing in this gap of time that we have not seen
Right,
each
right,
other,
right,
right?
right,
Like you
right.
refuse to talk about life,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
So
Hmm.
you're talking about love, or you're talking about sex, or you're having sex, or you're falling in love, or you're doing all this, but you've not talked about life, and you've not talked about loss.
Right, right, right.
And then we find ourselves in this middle thing where we believe we're either in love or we're in lust, or we're in, regardless of what it is, we're in.
Mm.
Now, when we start to reflect, then we start questioning, maybe I don't know this person as much as I thought.
Exactly. Well, now you say to that person, let me reintroduce myself.
Yes, but
Oh,
when you do that, does that person reintroduce themselves? And
oh,
where does that
absolutely.
lead?
Well,
Where does
well,
that
that's
person lead? Where does that person, or where does that leave you both? I guess not that person, but where does that leave you both?
well now, but because there's familiar, you're somewhat familiar with each other, then
Mm-hmm.
that just gives you so much better, a more better foundation. So then you can talk about, like, I have a really good memory. I can say, you remember this? You remember that? I don't remember that. Then something like, yeah, I remember that. You know what I mean? So it's like things like that. And it's like, oh my God, I never knew that about you. Or I never knew that about
Mm-hmm.
you. So it's nice. So it's like this whole sense of discovery with someone that you have known for, decades. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really nice. So it's always a lot of, conversation, it's like just, really, getting to know each other on a whole, like I said, a whole nother level, deeper
Right.
level. Like you never really talked about childhood and stuff like that. So now you have all these other conversations, and then all the things that you have been doing in your life, I've been doing in my life, now like we're both parents, our children are young adults,
Mhm.
so knew each other before parents, before we were each parents. So it's quite interesting, but it's really, really nice though.
That's
A
awesome.
lot of conversation. Yeah, a lot of conversation, really cool. So, just like, I guess and it wasn't much like thought, like, oh my God, it was just like, wow, okay. It just made sense,
Right.
you know. It wasn't like,
So it
I
sounds like the whole thing sounds organic to me,
And
right?
yeah, it's
Like
definitely it was definitely very organic. It was
right.
definitely very organic. I can honestly say, not in a million years. I'm like, wow, But when he called me, and just started like just slowly, spending time together, doing things, what I mean, and then just evolve, and it's still evolving. And I think relationships, no matter how long you're together, they should always be evolving. You know,
Correct.
so that's very important. And then come like, from things that you've learned, also from past relationships. And just to know who you are, and what you want. And it's like, like the thing is that for me, you take day by day, you know, because the reality is tomorrow's not real, you know, because you know, tomorrow is now. It's when it comes, what I mean? It's already, it's not really real. Everybody says tomorrow, but all you have is now. And then
Correct.
if you live to see another day, it's always going to be
Right.
now.
Right.
So, so it's like
In
every
the
day, and I'm
present.
really, exactly in the
In the
present. Like
present. Yeah.
I'm enjoying we're enjoying each other, enjoying our time. So it's really, really nice.
I think it's very interesting because I always say in relationship, I think it's important that relationships take time in their relationships, that the people involved in the relationships have what I call checkup,
Hmm.
which I think a lot of times people do not do or will not engage in because they're afraid to do so.
Hmm.
And when I say that, it's just like if you owned a store, right? And you purchase, so in January or last year, December, you purchased all of your product
Inventory. Hmm.
for the inventory for your store. So if you're not taking inventory throughout the year, or at least
Exactly.
once a month, or, you
Hmm.
know, once a week, whatever it is, when you get to the end of this year, you may find that somebody stole a whole lot of your product. Like,
Hmm.
you're like, wait a minute, there's nowhere indicated that we sold this,
Exactly.
but it's not there.
Right,
And
right,
you're
right.
going, wait, what? Well, how did that happen? So you've had a loss, but you didn't even know that the loss occurred.
Hmm.
Why don't you know the loss occurred? Because you
Hmm.
didn't take inventory.
That's right. That's right.
Same thing in your relationships,
Hmm.
right? Because a lot of times, what's that saying we hear all the time? We just grew apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
how do you grow apart
Oh, I know.
when
It's
you
such a
share in the same space?
analogy. Yeah.
How do
It's a
you grow apart when you share the same space, you share the same bed, you share the same bathroom, you share the same kids, you share the same house, you share the same bills? How do you grow apart?
lack of communication and lack of honesty.
Absolutely.
Because communication is the key. And I think too, the thing is that what I realize is that people are like, oh, I think when you meet someone, oh my God, they're nice. They're all these great characteristics you have to say about this individual.
Right.
The thing is that I don't always think that you did not see the other side of that person. I think because it's so fresh and new to you, you focused on all the good things about that person.
Mm-hmm.
As it should be, though. I mean, like unless he's a mass murderer or something like that, because no one is perfect. And I
Right.
think that just in general, It goes the gamut of all relationships, even your relationship with your parents, your relationship with your children. We tend as human beings to harp on, we want to gravitate to the worst part of that person and just run it in the ground. And it's like, well, why can't you just gravitate to the best part of that person? But even when oh, you did this, you did it. I mean, because the reality is like you have to, it's the same concept. You play to their strengths, you know, and they will get better. But when all you want to, like, all of a sudden, that's they this, they this. They were that when you met them. You
Well,
know what I mean? They
it's
just
funny. I'm sorry. You said
they didn't just turn into that.
true. Sometimes yes, I will say sometimes yes, sometimes no. But I will say something. I was having a conversation with one of my sorors this week, and we both have daughters that are same age, 19, sophomores in college. And so we were having the conversation about what we think we've taught our children or what
Mm-hmm.
we didn't teach our children and what we still need to teach our children, right? And so we were having this conversation about how both of our daughters can be very dismissive quickly. I mean, like my daughter, you get a first shot. You get that first, oh, you act like you want to act crazy, or all of a sudden you have a problem with her or something. After that, you come back again, she's cutting you off. You are off. You are done. Talking to my soror, her daughter, same way. They're like, I can't be bothered. I don't have patience for that. I don't want to be bothered. I'm not going to be. I saw what you did with those folks. No, I don't want any part of that. And so we were saying at their age, we were not that dismissive. Mm-hmm. And maybe there were times in our lives that, man, we needed to be dismissive. Mm-hmm. There are times in our older life where we probably still need to take that same attitude.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I think in the reflective part of this, or the reflection part of that, is where do we find the balance? Mm-hmm. Right? Because like you said, none of us are perfect, and we all are flawed, and we all come with baggage. Because if I met a man today who didn't have baggage, I would be concerned. Mm. Where have you been? What life were you living? What place were you living that you had no baggage? And I don't mean that to say that I want somebody to come to me that's complete, but I'm saying, do you understand what I'm saying? In life, there are ebbs and flows, and we have experiences, sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes neutral. But if someone comes and they don't have anything that has been a challenge, or they've worked through a challenge, or they're going through, that would make me feel uncomfortable, because then I would be concerned as to whether or not you would be able to understand where I'm coming from. If you've never had, if you've never had,
not to say that they never had, but some people, which I'm that person. I want to unpack those bags. I'm not trying to carrying them. Okay. And the reality is that because you don't, you know what I mean? Like when you're in something new, you talk about some things from the past, but you're not going to live in that place because you just keep giving it fuel and keeping it fresh. Right. Okay. So once you unpack those bags, you know what I mean, and you put them in where they need to be in all the different drawers or something like that, then you don't have any bags. But not to say that I don't understand it, because I've been there, but I was able to go through, heal, unpack my bags, and now here I am, Okay. That's one thing that you definitely can do. But I think that I think patience, all those things take time. You have to find patience for yourself. And not only that, I think that we as human beings, we like to try to change other people. You cannot change other people. Right. The reality is, to have healthy relationships is changing yourself and working on yourself.
Right.
how you want to view your own self, not how people view you, but how do you want to see yourself? And
Right.
as you work on yourself and you become better and you rise to those, the better vibrations of yourself, because everything is attraction. You're going to attract the other people that can't handle that, they're going to fall off. It's just
Mm.
like a natural
Hmm.
thing. And as you grow and as you get better, you'll attract better people, because we don't want to admit it, but we attract what we are. If we need something and that person needs the same thing too, you're going to be attracted to each other,
Right.
for that thing, you know what I'm saying? And maybe nothing else. So, okay, would that relationship work? Not, probably not, because when you just have that one point of attraction, and that's what it was built on, a need that you needed each other for. Maybe you needed a place to stay, maybe you needed money, whatever, you know. And then
Hmm.
once those things, then what else do you have? You know what I mean? So you have to like just build yourself up to be better. So he's like, okay, not that you need somebody, but that you desire somebody. And then
Right.
you can and then the thing is, you have to be careful, because when you attract out of loneliness, you don't really attract good things.
Mm.
You have to be fulfilled within your own self, not lonely, but you like the idea of spending time with somebody. So then it's like you already feel happy, and you've been doing your own thing. They've been happy doing their own thing. Then when you come together, you bring all this happiness together,
Right.
and you can kind of grow from there. But people like, I hear all, I'm so lonely. I wish I could meet somebody. You're gonna meet somebody like that. You're not gonna meet a really
Right.
good quality person. You know what I
Right.
mean? And when you out of need, you're not gonna really meet a good quality person. You're gonna meet somebody. Oh, they need this, and I need that. They whatever they need, and you need something else. It's not built on anything. It's built on what you need. So they're takers, and you're a giver. You know what I mean? But how about you come together and you're giving, and you're taking, you're giving, but it's all harmonious. You know what I mean? It's like it says, like the ebbs and the flow. So that's what's really important. If you work on yourself, even for your children,
Yep.
you punish your children, you get better, your children will get better. You
Yep.
get better, your marriage will get better, or it won't get better. Like, or you will get a different, whatever. It won't work because you're growing, So that's the key. You would definitely have to have some key factors, you know what I mean? If you worship the devil and I worship God, that's not gonna work,
Right.
So, it's just certain things too, but you have to know who you are and what you want and what you desire. I know this one guy was trying to talk to me, and I was like, oh, I gotta get furniture. That was my thing, you know. And he was like, oh, furniture is furniture. What's furniture? Yeah, well, I like nice furniture.
Can
So
you
like it was
wait?
already
I'm gonna need you to pause because you know that's a sensitive topic for me.
I
you,
know.
you remember the person who was like, wait, wait,
You need
how
a
much
room
did you
right
pay
now?
for? How much did you pay for that anyway? Do you really need it? What? Wait, what?
Well,
Furniture.
I never had living room furniture. Even
I
when we were
never
married,
had living room furniture. Like, wait, what?
I'll figure. You know. And then like, okay, you don't like nice furniture, but then the encouragement is like, oh, I would never, buy. You just you have enough conversations. Like, okay, maybe that's not your thing. But hey,
Right,
babe, you want nice furniture? We get nice furniture. You know what I mean? Because
right,
it's definitely about compromise. You know what I mean?
right.
Like
Absolutely.
I'm all into fashion, and that's my thing. My friend is like, yeah, okay, but I don't think he cares. I'm into fashion. That's not his big thing, fashion. But he's not gonna stop me from being the person that I am, because that's like I'm into fashion.
Plus, you
Then
got to
that's
know if I'm into fashion and you not, when we go somewhere, you gonna be into fashion because I'm gonna make sure we got to match when we go
no,
somewhere. Now.
that's not my. I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. I mean, as long as you feel comfortable, I will. That used to be a big thing when I used to be married. I mean, we used to go, another couple, like the four of us would go out, and every time me and my girlfriend would show up, we'd be like, oh, because they didn't dress the way we wanted them to dress. It was always something. And then one day was going out, I was all happy. She said, "Oh, you're not upset here?" I said, I had to, because that's him. He's an individual. If you want to dress like that, and that's on you. I had to just dress like, myself. So that, however you want to show up, as long as I tell you we were going somewhere It's a whatever type of affair, I mean, come on, you're not, so, but you have to be comfortable. But I'm not trying to pick out your clothes or tell you how to dress and get your
You
shoes.
nice, not me, girl.
I know, but those days for me are over. Been there, done that, not doing it anymore. I mean, and now if you ask me, are you like, oh, staff, whatever, but to put a person in an uncomfortable position, I even stopped with my kids. They started dressing themselves, and sometimes be
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh,
with them, I gave up on that a long time ago
yeah.
because
But then
now they
sometimes, and
are
then like,
different. That's a whole nother.
if
You're
they
like,
get if you get older, and like if you
oh,
were suiting up for a while, they make it like in their late 50s and 60s. They don't got to suit up no more. They ain't trying to suit up for nobody. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I've been there, done that. I ain't trying to do that. They just get really comfortable, and that's okay. I mean, as long as you look decent, as long as bathe, basically. But you look nice, and no, really,
they
I
got
don't get
to.
it. But don't make me. The only thing is that, oh, why are you wearing that? That we don't need to go through.
Well, but see, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes that is what happens. When we were talking about this, so because I'm saying when you mentioned about don't try to change me, right? Or don't start to question who I am or why I'm doing a certain thing. And so sometimes when you're with someone who is not like, you don't, because we're not necessarily the equals that we always talk about, equals. Your life is different than mine. Your upbringing was different than mine. The way you see the world is different than mine. Mine is different than yours, which it needs to be, because that's what attracts us normally to people, is something is different in you, but that difference is what I like, right?
Mm-hmm.
So but I think it's when we don't have the conversations is when the rub comes, the friction. Is like people, it's really weird how that works, right? Because we think that if we don't rub each other, there's no friction, meaning I stop talking to you about what's going on with me, you stop talking to me, you're upset about stuff, but you don't say anything about it. He's upset about something, he's not sharing that. And then you come up with this term, we grew apart. Well, think about it. As long as there's friction, you got an opportunity to work some stuff out.
Oh yeah, I think you always, what I mean,
right?
definitely.
But when the friction gets so much for you that you then start to do this, it's a wrap.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is.
I always told people, when people would say, especially men who would say, we all we do is argue all the time. We argue all the time. She mad at me, and I try to call her, and she won't. And I told this guy, he was trying not to get divorced, and I told him, I said, as long as your wife is still arguing with you, you still have an opportunity.
Exactly.
And he said, what are you saying? I said, as long as a person is willing to engage you in argument, and I'm talking argument now, I'm not talking physical stuff, cursing each other out, talking you are disagreeing with one another and you have this ongoing topic going on. Okay, that's fine. But when a person gets silent, that's when you need to worry. Because when they're not even willing, because in their mind, they're like, I'm so gone. I'm so out of here. You could be saying, I'm about to strike this match and blow up the house. And she over there going, let me see what I'm gonna cook for dinner. She don't hear nothing you saying. He don't hear nothing you saying. That's when you have grown apart.
Oh yeah, absolutely, right? Absolutely.
But when you are still willing to be in the same space with one another, even when you get into bed together and you're mad, but somebody's feet end up on somebody else's foot, or somebody's hand reaches over and rubs the other person's head or arm or whatever, you're still in the game. So I just want to say, you just got to have those reflective moments. And so it's life, love, loss. You always got to have those reflective moments, take your inventory and have those hard conversations. So
it's true. And some of the losses, a lot of losses need to be lost. Some losses shouldn't have been found.
That's part two.
But yeah, exactly.
The loss need to stay lost.
It's true. But you need, I mean, the whole key is working on self.
Yes.
Working on self, you work on yourself, and then you will find everything that you need. It's so true. And
Yes.
even with like you were saying about like the end of the year, things of that nature, it starts with, you know, we have to build up our vibrations. We have to have high vibrations. It's really, really
Hmm.
true. Is it
Hmm.
easy? It's not always easy. But when you're down in the muck, it's hard to create. It's hard to bring anything to you. You
Yes.
have to, and it doesn't have. You have to find something that's going to keep your vibrations high. The love of your children, the day you gave birth, the day you found out you were pregnant, whatever it is that makes you have high vibrations, so you can bring good things to you. Because those low vibration things that you're bringing to you, you do not want, and
Yeah.
they will keep you there. And not, like I said, it's not easy, but you have to find a way to find the happiness to keep yourself in a state so you could bring good things to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like misery loves company, happiness loves
Loves
company too.
company. Absolutely. And the happy company is much better than
Oh,
miserable.
absolutely. It is so, so true. It is so true. You got
Uh,
to guard your ears, all the negative people. You got to guard yourself of your negative words. You know what I mean?
That's
What's
right.
that song that makes me sing at the top of my lungs? When I can't sing, you can
Right.
sing that. But I'm just saying, what is that? What is that
Yeah.
feeling? What is that
Yeah.
that taste in your mouth to be like, oh my God, that just you
Right.
totally forget that
Right.
that deal didn't close. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? You're like,
Right.
oh my God,
Right.
what can
Or
take that away?
what makes you dance around your house when you in there,
Exactly.
how you turn the music up really loud and you just be in here
Exactly.
singing and
You know
dancing,
what I mean?
dancing so much that then all of a sudden you get a pain and you're like, you know what was you thinking? But then you just laugh at yourself.
Yeah, but then in that moment you get a phone
Yes.
call like, "Oh, we gonna close. I got another
Yes.
client. I'm gonna cash it. I
Yes.
already closed." You know what I mean? Literally,
Right.
you bring those things to
You
you.
do. You
Whatever you
do.
gotta feed on to like. It's like you want to feed on that happiness to
Right.
keep your vibrations because that it makes you sick. It makes you
Yes.
depressed. It makes you
Right.
bitter. It makes you unhappy.
Right.
And it's just not a place that you want to be.
Right.
And I'm just saying, all around us, you see it on TV, you see it in movies, you hear it in negative music, you hear it like a lot, and it's playing on your subconscious, and people just really don't realize it.
Right.
And we have to change. You have to change all of that, and it's so hard. That's why the 1% is the 1%,
That is
because
correct.
most people, their vibrations are so low they can't excel. You know, very few people are able to get there and maintain that level of vibration that they can bring good things to them.
Yes.
It's all about energy. When they had to wake up on the wrong side of the bed and this happened and that happened, it's really, what I mean. You
Right.
got to go back and okay, let me
Right. Because if you're gonna be
like take
slept
my
rock,
own
if you're
bed.
gonna be slept rock, if you wake up slept rocky, you're gonna be slept rocky all day, right?
Yeah.
The rain cloud's gonna follow you everywhere you go. And so even when the bad things happen, when the loss happens, absolutely process it. Take the
Oh,
moment. You got to process it because we're not definitely not saying you should never be sad. You're gonna be sad. You're gonna
yeah.
be mad.
Yeah.
You're gonna be
But
confused. You're gonna
you
be
gotta recognize those emotions, but you can't live
right,
there.
but you can't live in it. So, don't be slut rocky. Just, have your moment, talk about it, unpack it, unfold it. If it needs to throw it away. If the moth already ate it, toss it. No need to pack it back and put it back in there. And some of us have that in our memory banks. We got stuff that the moths done ate it, the spiders done laid eggs in it, the rat chewed on it, the dog chewed on it, and yet we just keep holding this thing. We be like, oh, but
I know. I saw
throw
something like
it
that. I saw
away,
something like that the
throw
other
it
day.
away.
Yeah, I would throw. I saw my scarf. I always wore a scarf on my head. I had a silk scarf, and I just keep. I don't know. I keep it, and I've had this silk scarf probably since I was like 9 years old, and
Wow.
I still have it. I can't use it because it's all like holy, but I keep it. And I was like, I can't believe I still have this because I have a drawer just for my scarves, and it's in my scarf drawer. And I was looking for a scarf the other day, and I'm like, oh my god, I still have this. And well, somebody really special gave that to me, and
Yes.
she's passed on, so it's probably the
Right.
reason that I do have it. But yes, I think it's kind of like sentimental. But certain
Yes,
things that don't serve you well, you really,
you need
really
to
need to
toss
get
it.
rid of.
Just toss it.
For sure, for sure, for sure.
Well, guys, we hope that you all have garnered something today. Um, I always tell you, Steph, I really appreciate our friendship, our sisterhood, our relationship, because we are to one another, and more so sometimes me, because you will, even if I call you and I go, hey, how are you? And I can hear it in your voice, and you're like, oh God, then you go, nope, nope, I'm great, I'm good. She literally, y'all, that's her. And I've told y'all, sometimes she works my nerves with that foolishness. I'll be like, just be sad, damn it. Just say you're sad. Let's just be sad for a moment. Let's just own it. And she'll be like, nope, nope, I'm
Oh.
great. Everything is good. And then I just, but
I'm
I
too,
will
I'm too
give,
scared. I'm too scared to be sad. I want like,
right. And I will give you credit for the fact that there are moments, like I said, I will be sad, but then I will sometimes hear Steph's voice. I'll hear somebody else's voices that just is telling me it's gonna be okay. Right. And so that's what we all need, that reflective, that circle, that life, that love, that loss, those people in your life who remind you it's really going to be okay, right? And don't, like it, process it, but don't sit in it, don't live in it, and don't stay there, and don't go down that rabbit hole. So I just hope that, like I said, that we lift someone's spirit today, or we gave you some food for thought today, because the end of the year always seems like it's that moment where sometimes it could just be hard. So we hope that, we gave you something today to chew on and think about.
oh,
Steph, your
definitely.
final words?
My final words is like, 2023 is around the corner, but we're still in 2022. So,
Amen.
hey, take every day and just, find a place, find something that just made you happy, you know, get that quiet moment, just to find that peace in your life. So you can have clarity, you can see what's going on around you. Clarity is so important, you know, so you can move forward, you know, and enjoy each and every day, really, and be in the moment though. We so far, oh, next week I'll do this, do it now, or when you feel, because it's always right when you feel like doing it. If something's like really, I don't feel like doing it, then you probably shouldn't do it. But something's like, I gotta do it now. That's when you do it. Like, yeah. And then
Right.
not to mention you get it done with enthusiasm, and you do it well. It's
Yep.
just really good. So I tell you, your energy is everything. It's real. It's really real. So that is, I'm all about that. Definitely.
That you are.
you
Hey
know,
guys,
I, I say everything is always working out for me. That's my mantra. Everything is
yeah,
always working.
that is what you say. And
Out.
listen,
Yep,
it makes a difference.
it does. It really, really does.
Well, guys, enjoy your weekend. I hope that you all have some plans. And if you don't, if it's just to sit on the couch and, watch Netflix holiday movies or watch Lifetime holiday movies, then do that. I've been enjoying. I love, this is one of the favorite parts of the holiday season. I love watching all the Christmas movies. That's my
Okay.
favorite thing to do. I
I'm,
love,
I'm watching The Gilded Age. Have you seen that?
no, I have not.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. Yes, yes.
I gotta
Yeah,
check it out.
yeah, my man friend introduced me to it. So I
Okay.
watched, we binged the first season, and now the second season is gonna probably come out in January. But it's so, so good. Yes.
Okay.
You would
Well,
enjoy that.
guys, have a good one. Have a great weekend, honey bunny. I love you.
I love you too. Happy New Year, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Bye.